Hello and welcome to the non-Greg Sterlace Show, except only the substitutes. I'm your host, the Pamazon, your lovely host, the Pamazon. And we have here co-host.
Oh, I thought it was Rick.
It does look like co-host Sean. He looks very much like Rick.
Rick.
Rick Davies from Supertramp. Maybe we should throw up a comparison and take a look.
Okay.
If you can find that in the cosmic space pouch, Dudley, I'd be much obliged.
Reach into the cosmic space
all right.
fuzz.
I'm looking for it.
It's just past the clack lacquer.
Oh, there's a clack lacquer.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go. It's uncanny. So me and my bandmates were looking at prog bands. Supertramp came up as a prog band, and I posted a picture, and people actually thought it was John in the picture.
Can I just say that Supertramp sounds like the world's lamest superhero?
It does kind of, really.
Like, I'm just sorry, like, she has her ways with everyone by day, or perhaps by night. Meanwhile, she rescues cats. It's like, does she get her powers by, like, having sex with people?
That's not... Rescuing cats is very kind of her.
It is, but, like, Supertramp. Like, don't call yourself that. Call yourself, like, Nympho Queen or something. Like, Supertramp. That sounds like Superman's slutty cousin.
There you are. You need to get some of them royalties. They wrote a lot of real big hit songs. They're still being played on the album-oriented rock radio. Old-timey radio.
It's true.
We could be living like kings and queens with them royalties.
Yeah, I want it. Yeah, give it to me.
Give it to me. Say what? Give it that funk, sorry.
Come on. This wonderful little tape was a hit. It sold out all 53 copies.
What is that a tape of?
I
don't think people know by you holding it up.
It's my first release as Captain Johnny Sausage, all the way back in 2008, I think. This was a split with this really crazy guy named Cat Shit.
Oh no.
And he asked me if we could call it Justice of the Unicorns, and I don't know why. So I just kind of drew the logo from Rolling Rock and put a horn on it and drew this crazy tape. There was only... It says 33, but I think there was actually 53. But the 33 were the ones that were sold online. The other ones were just kind of like for us and for Captain Crook. And I don't know. It was my first release as Captain Johnny Sausage, and it's the Cat Shit is the worst artist I've ever heard. Like, he's terrible.
As his name would imply.
I have his entire catalog because he sent it to me and he also sent me like all these crazy like posters and stuff. Cat Shit is crazy. Like, he's just this nutty, like, chubby guy, and he's just kind of like, he was like really excited. He's like, yeah, I recorded like a pot boiling, and then like my girlfriend's dad came in and he said I was insane. And I'm like, yeah, right. And Slade's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know this guy was insane. I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, now I got to do it. I'm already, like, making it. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I didn't realize this guy was, like, a lunatic. He still comments to get me to try and do another one time. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be on Cat Shit albums anymore.
That's kind of understandable. I mean, I don't think I would want to be on Cat Shit albums either.
And I mean, like, I have the entire Cat Shit discography. It's just like weird nothing.
Now, Donkey Vomit, that's a different story.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just made that up.
Yeah, Cat Shit. This is the Cat Shit side. You can tell because it says CS. And then and then on my side, CJS. But I thanked a lot of people in the credits before I knew he was crazy. So for everyone who I put in the credits, I actually re-released this later because I had to edit this down because a lot of the songs
That shit
were like
was taking up too much of your space.
He was. So I re-released this later as an album called Raven-Haired Girl last year, where it had the unedited versions of a lot of these songs. But I actually think these are some of my favorite songs. I play a lot of cool stuff on mandolin. and sitar, lots of cool Casio on it actually too. Bass.
You got that sitar from that pawn shop that I went into, and I was like, is this a pawn shop? Are they gonna abduct me, or is this like fake?
Gabby Lala sent me a little bit of sitar that I used on this too, so she's on this.
Okay.
But she's a real sitar player, but I am not. But there's a little bit of a. She's on this, I think. There's a couple people are on this, I think. Who do I think on this? Bunch of crazy people. But anyway, I thought I didn't have any more of these, and I just found this today. I besides the cat ship crappy side, I actually really like this tape. I like the green little things. This was the first tape that Captain Crook ever put out. Before that, he only did like lathes and CDs. But then the tape thing, just people wanted him so much. He's like, well, I'll do it. Yeah, whatever. They're really cheap. And I don't know. But I like Justice of the Unicorns. I personally prefer the look of this one, but if you want to hear it unedited...
I like how green it is. It looks like it's got a light in it almost.
It does. It's very cool. And you can't find this digitally, so these versions of these songs... There's alternative takes and stuff on the Raven-Haired Girl one from last year, but if you want to hear these versions of this song, you can only buy it physical copy. And there's a few copies for sale on Discogs. At least there was a couple months ago, so it's technically out there. People are selling their used copies.
Huh. Oh, that's cool. You got any recommendations?
Oh, I just kind of thought these were fun. I forgot I had these. I had this cool How to Wake a Sleeping Beauty adventure book where it's kind of like... It changes, like, if you choose a different story every time.
Oh, choose your own adventure.
I think it's kind of fun, like, different ways to wake her up. And I just like this little cool coloring book with, like, all the Greek gods and stuff. And it tells you all the little facts about him. It's kind of cool. Like, I don't know what this naked guy's doing, but I would watch out with that bird. I heard a bad story about a bird recently, so this guy better watch out.
He better...
See this?
He better gird his loins.
This naked drunk girl, I mean... It's just a lot of fun. I like these kind of like cool. I bought this at California's biggest art shop in what's that? In Ventura County. It's the biggest art shop in California. It's a really fun place. I bought this in 2015. I didn't really ever want to. I kind of want to color it, but I feel like I should scan them and color them because I don't want to ruin the book.
No, that makes sense.
But I don't know. It's not really a recommendation. I just saw it and I thought it was fun. All of these Dover coloring books I think are fun. I'm not really much of a coloring book guy, but I like the drawings. I hate coloring. I hate coloring my own comics. I do it because I used to have someone do it, but now I can't, and I have to do it, and I don't want to do it, but it's like, oh my god, if I didn't have to color things, I hate coloring comics. I don't even like color comics.
Can you leave them black and white?
I could, but they look so good in color. I prefer them in black and white, to be honest, but a lot of people like color, so...
So I'm going to recommend something. Maybe I recommended it before. I don't. I probably did. But
I'm
doing it anyway.
Tell it to the new viewers.
Because there's, who knows who's watching. A really great TV show to watch is, in addition to, the wonderful Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which if you haven't watched it, you should because it's amazingly good, is... Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It's so freaking good. It's really good.
It is
really good.
Definitely one of the best shows I've seen. But
also Dark Matter was fun, but
Dark Matter's fun, but it's got nothing on this. I've never actually seen any of the Terminator movies, but you don't really need to see
the
them.
show's better than the movies. I saw the first two movies. Wait,
There's like 5 of them now, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot. I didn't watch any after the first two, but so I can't say it's better than all of them, but
everyone's gonna hate me
good.
In the nerd realm, but this show is so much better than Firefly.
The sad thing is there was another show that he did. Oh my gosh, what was the name of it?
Dollhouse.
Dollhouse. Josh Whedon did Dollhouse, and Dollhouse was terrible. It was terrible. It was so bad. I kept waiting for something good to happen and interesting, and then nothing happened, and Fox had a choice to make, and they chose Dollhouse over Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was so.
Oh, is that why it ended?
Because they had like two sci-fis with, female leads and
Garbage
la la
off the
la.
screen.
I mean, Lena. I think it's Lena. What's her name?
Dudley's
Lena.
messing with me. He put stuff on the
She's-
screen.
She's on that George R. Martin show that's got the dragons and stuff.
I like the books. I've watched the show.
What's the show?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. She's on Game of Thrones.
The books are
It's got
honestly-
her and versus Eliza Dushku. Come on, no contest. No contest, Eliza Dushku. You lose. to
Josh
her.
Whedon, I don't think he's that. People praise him, but I don't like anything outside of Buffy and Angel that he's done. And I've seen like other things, like the superhero movies. I'm just not really into. It's just like I don't really get. He just seems like he had one good thing that worked, and then everything else is just like. Whatever.
There we go. It's making a
I mean-
strange hum.
I love the Game of Thrones books. That's probably my most obsessed book series ever. I love those books so much. But the show is just like whatever. It's just such substandard, boring fantasy. I'll watch it.
I don't watch it, so I don't know.
I watched the
really.
first season. It was alright. But I the books I like obsess over. I watch videos on YouTube on them all the time. I know all the theories. I've read every side project book. I know everything about the book series.
Plus, the Sarah Connor Chronicles Terminator has Summer Glau as the Terminator.
Yeah, she's great.
She is great. She's really great as a robot. And I'm a sucker for that, like, robot human thing. And
I have
there's
noticed.
some really interesting interactions about, with that in that show. And it's so dang good. Why? Why did it have to end? So good.
Dollhouse is stupid. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's
better than Game of Thrones, I would say. Ooh, that's gonna make the nerdum mad. I would say Terminator: Sarah Connor Chronicles is better than Game of Thrones.
I'm sure it is.
Ha!
I mean, I've seen the first
Ha!
season. It's alright, whatever. But the books are seriously like my obsession. I know everything about the books. But the show is like nothing like the books from my having watched both and read the books. They're just kind of like...
I do love Dark Matter because it's like, Flash Gordon, sort of, but a little, more... There's some more interesting components where Flash Gordon was just kind of like, let's put an iguana down and film it and pretend it's attacking somebody.
Well, that's why it's fun.
It is fun. Oh, there you go. There it was again. Wait, bring that back. Where'd that go? It's so crazy. That looks so much like you. Don't be angry. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. It's gonna get mad. It really does look like you. I mean, okay. Now he's gonna read about his Greek gods and goddesses and ignore us. And ignore us. What do you think, Dudley?
Is someone called me?
Yes, I was wondering. Do you think that he looks like John?
That's not the same person?
It is not. It is not. Maybe they're in parallel universes and somehow crossed over. They crossed over. Don't get too close to Rick Davies because you might end the world. All right, I'm sorry. Come back. Come back from behind the book. I don't understand. He's a nice, attractive man. All right, so John's ignoring me now, and I. Oh no! Oh no! No! I also like Mad Men. If anybody watched Mad Men, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I like the clothes a lot. That was probably the wrong reason to be watching it, but I was looking at the... No, it wasn't? Okay, Dudley says it was not. I heard a little peep from beyond. It is okay to watch it for the clothing and the 20th century modern furniture.
Yes, I was also gonna say the furniture.
Yeah, the
You can
furniture.
watch it for that.
It's delightful. It's delightful.
You can just turn the sound all the way off. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not much of a plot anyways. It's just kind of, there's somewhat of a plot, but not really. It's just kind of like day-to-day life stuff. Have you watched Mad Men, John? Oh, no.
Yeah, Mr. Engineer just put can just keep putting the still frame on.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
I am leaving.
Don't leave.
I am leaving.
Why are you leaving?
Because you people are made to be.
I was gonna say everybody loves Rick Davies, but they don't. But some people, a lot of people do. Some people are like, screw Supertramp, they suck. But you said you actually like Supertramp. You said you were listening to them the other day. Okay. Alrighty then.
I am in the middle of an engaging story. Whatever.
You're also on a TV show right now, and we've got, you know.
Oh, you don't need me. You need Supertramp
No,
guy.
I don't need Supertramp
Call
guy.
that guy. See what he's doing. Be like, hey, the other guy's being stupid and cranky and a baby. Maybe you should come on because you're so cool and amazing.
That I would totally, sure, yeah, if he wanted to come on the show,
I
I'd
am
interview
leaving.
him, but he's pretty far away. No, don't leave. You can't leave. Don't leave. Please don't leave. I'm sorry. What can I do to make it up to you?
Why are the Mad Men even so mad? Someone should tell them they shouldn't be so mad. Maybe it's not that bad. Come on, guys.
I think they might be mad as in crazy mad might be the reference, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I figured, but I was being ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm failing left and right. What can I do here?
I don't know. Whatever.
So, once again, I'm going to say that we shall be playing. I will be playing September 6th at the Honey Room. And then on the 7th, I'll be playing with John here at Music is Art. Then I'll be playing with Brass Pro. And I'll also be playing with the Gifted Children. So that's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough one. Because I'm going to be doing lots, and running around with lots of stuff and nowhere to put it. So I haven't quite figured that out, where I'm going to put all the stuff I have to use that day. For the different things and such. I probably just have to make lots of long trips to the car and back and hope nobody steals anything. So do you have anything else to recommend, John?
Yeah, ask Stupid Tramp.
Oh no. Oh no. No. Yes, so I'm also we're also playing Friday, which you probably won't see this in time for this Friday because it'll be over by then. So that's that. Okay. Are we just gonna sit here?
Well, I don't know. Ask Stupid Tramp guy.
Okay, Mr. Davies, could you help me out? My co-host seems to not want to cooperate.
Well, I'm not as cool as whatever, so I can't talk apparently.
You can talk.
No, I'd just get that guy his way.
Wouldn't you just be just as cool as him?
Since
you're the same person?
That's a secret.
Ow. Kid got me. That's a secret? You're the same person?
I wouldn't tell you because you don't seem to care.
You've aged very well. I mean, you must be in your 70s by now.
I mean,
you look great.
Some people in their 70s look really good. Ringo looks pretty much the same for the last 40 years. I don't know why. Paul McCartney looks really old and gross, but Ringo does not.
Does not look old.
He doesn't look any different at all. I mean, he doesn't look like he did in the Beatles, but he's got the same look he's had since, like, the 80s.
Yeah, who'd have thought that the Rolling Stones would collectively outlive the Beatles?
And still exist as a band. I mean, they only formed like 3 years after the Beatles started, if that.
Who was?
The Rolling Stones only started like 3 years after the Beatles even started, if that. I mean, I think by the time they started, Ringo wasn't even in the Beatles yet.
That's pretty interesting.
And they just put out a new track like a couple weeks ago, and it was really good.
Huh. I did not hear this.
I enjoyed it. For the Rolling Stones, it was probably one of my favorite songs they've done in general.
Huh. Okay. What was it?
It's called Doom and Gloom.
Doom and Gloom. There's plenty of that happening right now, sadly.
Yes. But the Rolling Stones, I mean, they have to be like the richest people ever. What do they have to do? Complain about all they do is do drugs and like be rich and exist and play music for like 20 minutes a day and have like millions of dollars.
It's a hard knock life for us.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like,
I think they put on a longer show than
they do. I'm just
they
being
put on
ridiculous.
A pretty long show.
I mean, I don't know. Whatever. The Rolling Stones. I mean, what other bands exist that have still been around that long? I mean, there's like the Ventures. They've been around since the 50s.
Oh, they're still a band?
They moved to Japan because people in Japan are obsessed with them, but they do...
With surf?
Yeah.
Is it the same people or just one of the same people?
It's mostly the same people from what I
Oh,
can
wow,
tell.
that's impressive.
The Beach Boys still exist.
A bunch of them are dead, though.
Yeah, but there's still like some core members. Well, you got Brian Wilson.
Pink Floyd hung on for a long time, but they're not really... Now it's just pretty much Roger Waters.
I still think that counts. I mean, I don't know. How many other bands from like the 60s still exist? There's got to be some. The Shags surprisingly still exist.
Yeah, I don't...
The Shags are like the weirdest band ever. The guy had a prophecy that his daughters would be pop stars, and they didn't want to be musicians, but he made them be musicians. And they became kind of famous, but they were so bad, they just got famous for being bad. But then they became Frank Zappa's favorite band.
Oh.
And now they still exist. They're all like in their like 70s by now, but they still play shows and stuff. And Dot Wiggum puts on her own music. But this guy just had these prophecies that his daughters would become the most famous pop stars, but they didn't want to be pop stars. But he just kind of made that happen, and then they kind of were.
Yeah, well.
But they're really, really bad. Like, it's not like they know they're bad, but like I still like their songs. Philosophy of the World, I think, is a good song.
I don't really know the Shags.
It's just interesting just to hear it, because like their first albums are from when like they're kids. Like when they're older, it sounds more like real music, but when they're like little kids and he's like forcing them to like record in the studio and it's just really bad, it's like, what are you doing?
That is true. What bands are still together from the way back? You should call us up and let us know if there's any we missed, because I can't really think of any other than the Rolling Stones.
From that
406-7754. Call the number on the screen.
Call the number on the screen.
Devo
let us
still
know.
exists. They're not that old, but they did form in 1974.
Okay,
that's not that old.
That's not that old, but
it's older than a lot of other bands. There's plenty of bands in the 70s that still exist. Bands from the 60s, I mean, Jethro Tull still exists. They're from the 60s. That's the later 60s. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. Some bands still exist. Some don't. Watch them if you want. You ever hear George Harrison's...
Starship Trooper. I mean, Yes still does exist, sort of.
What is that?
Yes. Starship Trooper.
Yes.
But they kicked out John Anderson because he got sick and couldn't go on a tour, so they kicked him out and replaced him, which is rude.
That is rude.
Rude!
He's an AC/DC guy, too.
And then Chris Squire, the bass player, died, and he was an amazing bass player, so they're pretty fractured at this point.
I still enjoy Modern Yes, personally.
Modern Yes?
I saw them.
Like Owner of a Lonely Heart, you mean?
No, I just mean like when they play live.
We used to do this karaoke roulette where you'd pick the song for somebody, you'd put their name on a slip, and they'd have to go up and sing. And I put that Owner of a Lonely Heart on a slip and made someone sing it.
I like
and
that
they
song.
had
though.
never heard it. They were just like, what the?
I like that song.
Then someone gave me Jenny from the Block by Jennifer Lopez, which I had never heard. I was like, I have no idea.
I've never heard of that either. I don't even know
I
what
have
that
no
is.
idea how this song goes.
Never heard of it.
Karaoke. And then, when I gave the person Wonderful in the Heart, when I got up there, they had picked Patsy Cline for me because they're like, you have a pretty voice and I want to hear you sing Patsy Cline. And I felt like such a jerk. Like, oh shit, I'm a jerk. Oh well.
That's okay. But I was gonna say something, but I don't remember what it was. There's also this other album I put out more recently. This is probably the most recent Captain Johnny Sausage. It's nothing like the stupid cat shit one. This is like real songs where I'm playing guitar and stuff, and there's actual chords. It's got Island Song, Long Ago, which is probably my most complex song. The Captain and Friends theme, which is really fun. There's a demo for Mr. Giraffe, and then I cover Singapore at the end. This is probably it's just a little EP, but this is also a fun one. But the cat shit one is, I like that one a lot, but I don't know, it's probably not for your standard music fan. Oh, it's okay. But anyway, has anybody else heard George Harrison's really crazy entire Moog keyboard album? It's very weird.
I have not.
He put it out.
It's pronounced Moog.
Oh, is it Moog? I thought it was Moog. Well, anyway, George Harrison was the only one of the Beatles for the longest part to put out solo albums in the 60s, like before the Beatles broke up. And he has some strange ones. But John had some stuff with Yoko he did in the 60s. But Yoko, I know people don't like her because she's got a weird voice, but I think she can really she does have some really crazy, weird, basically noise albums, but when she writes pop songs, I think they're really good. I used to love covering the song Sisters Oh Sisters. That's one of my favorite songs. I mean, when Yoko wants to write a pop song, she can, but I think she just enjoys more just doing crazy noise yelling stuff, but I don't know. I mean, it's probably because it's way easier. I mean, you don't have to really do anything. She just has, John pushing a bunch of crazy buttons and she just kind of screams, but... And people will buy it because they're both famous. But, I don't know. It's very...
So, I think it's good if people keep playing, though, and they don't give up.
I mean, even Yoko, she's really old. She's been playing since, she was... way older than John. She's been playing since he was a little kid probably. I mean, she was really, she's really been at it a long time. I mean, even Yoko Ono's modern stuff she does with her son is really good. The stuff she does with Sean. The Plastic Ono band still exists, but they basically just replaced John with Sean. And I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy Plastic Ono band, and I like it with both John and with Sean.
At the Jamborees, when I used to take my dad, there'd be really, 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 really old people, and sometimes, one time they felt very sick and went to the hospital. They left the stage and went to the hospital, and that was that. That's
a very sad ending to the show.
Well, we didn't know. We didn't know until later. But in a way, it's kind of like, oh, you kept doing what you loved to the end,
That's true. That's how Tiny Tim died. He died performing Tiptoe Through the Tulips. He was at the women's club in...
See, that looks so... whoa. You even make those faces when you sing. I'm sorry, okay? He was at the women's club, and he was singing Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Never mind. You can look up the rest.
And he dropped dead on stage. Did he drop dead on stage? Did he make it to the hospital?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, my gosh. Come on.
Well, when I asked Miss Sue, she said that he was pretty much dead, but they called the hospital, and he was already dead by pretty much mid-note. He finished the last note, and by the time he did, he just collapsed. It was gone.
Oh, wow.
But she said when she went home, his footprints were still in the snow. I don't know. We should just get Miss Sue on the show. I mean,
you should get Miss Sue on. Ooh, we had a weird thing happen. Oh, crap, we're out of time. Yeah, I had a very weird thing happen at work, but I don't think I have time to tell it.
Just try.
Okay, so there was this person that worked at our work, and he had to leave for behaving badly, And the ceramics teacher saw him getting out of a car, and she was very upset, and she looked up to see what had happened to him or where he was to try and spy on him, and she, see if he's coming back to work where he worked, and she found out he was dead, and he'd been dead. So call us with your ghost stories or rock stories or whatever.